Analog Efex in Nik Collection 7 is a fantastic tool. You can do a lot of stuff such as this. I'm going to put it on the side so that you can enjoy it. You have multiple amount of choices, which is just fantastic. And personally, I love it because I'm a big fan of the black and white in general, the film photography. So the analog look, personally, it gives a really beautiful nostalgic look. That's kind of the idea when I take a look at my old travel photography, which I've done, such as this one I've done in India a long time ago. And when I look back in this way, it feels more natural to me for some reason. I don't know, it's probably because that they are just phenomenal. They look authentic. They don't look overly done, yet very beautiful. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you not the presets, because you have got plenty of presets available here, which is nice, and there are so many of them. Instead, I'm going to show you something that is even more interesting, essentially how all those effects are done. For instance, if you look at the left hand side, sorry, so you have all the presets. Obviously you can click and it's done. However, the moment that you click on a preset, if you look at the right hand side, then you'll see the bunch of tools. And that could be dart and scratches, that could be basic adjustment, obviously, and then you have the vignette and film type, and many more, obviously many more. Thing is, each preset are done using different type of filters. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to go down in this camera kit at the bottom, and you see that every time you click a filter, for instance, if I go and then select, let's say I'm going to go to color cast and then click on the blue faded. Now immediately you'll see that in the camera kit it's only two tools have been used, two filters actually, two filters are used. But if you go to, we're going to go back to the preset, and then if I select, for instance, the burned edges, and this takes some time to change. I'm going to zoom out. It takes some time because if you look at it here, it's working. It takes a little bit of time because it's a lot of filters. And then if we go back to camera kit, and then see that now you have one more, such as light leaks. So each preset are done with different type of tools. So I'm going to zoom back and then take my photos to the original look all the way back. And then I'm going to show you exactly what is going on in this image. For instance, this is the previous and this is after, though, if you're thinking. So first of all, my objective is to go back to the original look, very first look. There you go. Now we have nothing has been used. Now I'm going to go back to all Nik. See that in the camera kit, again, when I click all Nik and nothing has been used, you have got plenty of camera kit, bokeh, dark scratch, exposure, double exposure, film type, etc, etc. So we're going to go through each of them one at a time to show you what exactly they do separately. But of course, this means that tutorial could be a bit more long, right? So we're not going to use just one single image. So each camera kit, I'm going to change the photo just for fun, because otherwise, the same image can be a bit more boring. So you need to make this tutorial a bit more interesting, right? So this is one of my image. So we introduced this tutorial with that image. Now I'm going to change this image to something that another photo that I've taken in New Delhi. There you go. So that's a beautiful, just nice image. It's not perfect, but it's nice. Just a natural. The bunch of pigeons are flying around. Now we're going to start with the basic adjustment. So basic adjustment is just a basic adjustment. The name gives away, I think. You don't need to worry too much about it. You got the basic detail structure, such as if you go all the way to there, it gives a nice gritty look that brings out more details, but can make the image a bit more contrasty, which is not as contrasty as obviously this one. We don't need that. But the contrast is not the same contrast. If you look at it, it also made the image a bit more, I don't know how to say it. The word I'm looking for, obviously it's contrasty. Dark became very dark, bright became really bright, but also kind of like a gritty, faded look at the same time. Saturation, obviously, basic adjustment again is what do you think? However, though, we can use the basic adjustment as a local adjustment. We're not going to go there because I'm just going to introduce you the tools. There's a separate video for the local adjustment. Now, let's change the image for the next camera kit. For that, I am going to select probably this beautiful image of a boy that I've taken in Rajasthan. Nice image. It's already beautiful. It's very natural. I personally don't want to change it, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use the Bokeh tool. So I'm going to get rid of the adjustment. I don't think I can get rid of it because it's there. Now the Bokeh already it has a nice bokeh, so I think it's not necessary. I'm going to get rid of this image and get some image that without bokeh, I guess. For that, I probably need this image that I've taken in Nepal. So that it's a good example. So I'm going to add bokeh tool. So you have this by default. It already applied the bokeh, which is nice. So before, after. Now, bear in mind, you can also change the diameter as your preference. In this case, probably this is ideal because, it's weird to have just the face in focus, not the rest, because they're all pretty much in the same area. So we getting there. Perfect. Probably a little bit down. Now, before, after. Now, you have the bokeh style as well. If you look at it, apply ellipse, or you can apply tilt shift. So let's try it. I guess, the good thing is that it can move around, which is nice. Pretty simple. Now we can change the aperture shape. Let's try it. So you have pentagon, octagon, round, love shape. If you want to be a bit more creative, then you have the blur extent and the highlight, boost highlight. Let's try blur extent. That's the maximum, and that's minimum. So you want to be somewhere in between. The boost highlight, more or less. Anyway, that's the bokeh tool in Nik Collection 7 Analog Efex. Now we are gonna head to dart and sketches. So for that, as usual, let's change the image. We have an image, a boy on the beach. This photo is taken in Bangladesh when I was traveling with my wife to travel around my country. You know, back in the day, long time ago. Now I live in France, but you know, this image brings back a lot of memories. My goodness. So this is a young guy, you know, living his most innocent life. This is beautiful. It's not a perfect image. Obviously, you can see that image is not straight, but my goodness, I'm in love with this photo because everything is right about it. I could make the boy look a bit more bright, but you know, with the basic adjustment, local adjustment with the basic adjustment. But you know, we are here to show you the dirt and scratches. So let's try that. So immediately use some sort of preset by default. So before, after. I'm going to put that in the middle. Now you have the, you know, you can select the strength. You can also select a bunch of scratches. You know, imagine that you took in a photo and the film has a lot of scratch. Then when you print it, it tend to be, you know, scratchy sometimes. Happened to me a lot. So you have the scratch, then you have the organic, and you have the eroded. So eroded, you have plenty of presets as well. Takes a little bit of time. Once again, you can see that it's taking a little bit of time to apply this. So yeah, I mean, it looks quite natural to me. Trust me, I have a lot of images of my grandparents and my parents' wedding, so I valid them. So, and then each of those has plenty of choices right there, so you can select as your, you know, depends on your need or want. You know, personally, I would take this because in Bangladesh, my old photos are all, you know, kind of ruined with the humidity. So this makes more sense. Anyway, moving on to the next tool, which is the double exposure. So I'm going to get rid of this image first, this tool first of all, and select another image that is something different. Something different would be, there you go, that's a nice one. A monk in Nepal. That's a nice one. I really like this image. We really do. And the blur, the bokeh at the background, it looks really nice from Fuji. I think it's not the Fuji, it's from the Panasonic. Now we are trying double exposure, and there it is. So what the double exposure does, imagine that you have two different images. It's kind of like a, you know, blended one on top of another and give you like a nice creative look. You can see when I'm moving this square here, it's moving as well. Take a look. So it's kind of doing something to give you this look, which is amazing. So you can move around and then get your proper look if you like. Then you can modify it, of course. About the exposure balance, you have the zoom strength and the rotation strength. So pretty straightforward. Once again, I'm going to reset it and then see what it does just quickly. There you go. That's the exposure balance. Too much, too less. Beautiful. Let's try, what is that, before and after? Amazing. So it's kind of create a second image, and you can just get to move around. You can also, you see that you can also change the original image. For instance, you click it and it will allow you to select a different image. For instance, I have this image of a monkey, and it's going to apply most likely on top of it, and there you go. So you see that, imagine that the old classic example of when you're trying to take an image. You did take an image, for instance, you took an image of this man over here, and then for whatever reason back in the day, somehow the film didn't move, so you took a second image of a monkey on a mountain. Thing is, they all now slapped on top of each other. Happened to me again a lot, and I used to laugh with my parents that, oh my god, now the tree image of a tree, and it's replaced by face of my brother. Anyway, so that's the double exposure. So I'm getting rid of that and change the image to something else. So enough with the monk. Probably we can go to another image. Let's take a look at the photo of this monkey, not the same one. That's in Nepal. I'm pretty sure where it is. It's in Pokhara. Beautiful image. I love it. Slightly underexposed, but that's fine. I still love the image. If I want to print it, I can print it by doing some minor editing. Now let's try one of the key tool of Analog Efex. It's a film type. So of course you can try and pick different type of film. So we are moving at the film type. You have the film type such as, by default, you already selected warm, and we have warm 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to a lot. Then you have cold, I'm guessing. You have black and white natural and black and white tuned. Let's try one at a time. Cold, subtle, then black and white natural, and then black and white toned like sepia. So yeah, you get to select different type of tool, different type of film type. We used to have a say that some Kodak used to be a bit more warm, doesn't matter where you take it, and some like Fuji used to be a bit more cooler. So some films are ideal for some time of the day. So my idea is that you can to choose whatever you prefer. Then you can, of course, select the fade, the strength, the grain per pixel, because some grain can be a lot or no. And then you can select the hardness of the look. Depends on you, how you prefer. Let's try, just for an example, this, and then hardness to the right and hardness to the left. Anyway, that's just me feeding my curiosity. Moving on to the next tool, which is frames. Changing the image again to this image. We did a tour a long time ago. My goodness, when was it? I believe that is since 2017 in Bangladesh, when a bunch of friends of us decided to hire a motorcycle, and those motorcycle guys were giving us a nice tour on the beach next to one of the biggest mangrove forests in the world, which is at the background right there. You can find the tigers there. Anyway, you know about that. Anyway, now the next tool is frames. So what frame would you like? For that, you have plenty of choices. Again, you have film strip to white or light box, as you prefer. Light box takes some time, again, each filter, or burned corner. Then that's about it. Then you can scale is basically opacity. not necessarily opacity, but the size of your frames essentially. Apologize for confusing you. Or otherwise you have the traditional white border or the film strip. This is the classic one, obviously. Next image. Let's get rid of that first, the frame. Next tool, first of all, lens distortion. So change the image to, let's go to Taj Mahal again. So we're going to go to Taj Mahal, not Taj Mahal, sorry, Rajasthan. So we're going to go to Rajasthan. Let's try the lens distortion. So what happened before and after, first of all? So without lens distortion, with lens distortion, I mean, I don't think we should spend too much time with this particular tool, because obviously you get to choose whether, you know, in today the lenses are way too perfect. Back in the day, it did not have DxO optic modules. It did not have perfectly engineered, you know, Canon or Sigma lenses, which is already good. Plus you get to use the DxO optic modules to even make it more perfect. Back in the day, you just had a camera and the lens that is, you know, happens to be there, and then some images used to be a bit more distorted than the others, depends on your camera focal length. Even with the camera focal length, it still used to be distorted. In this case, this is what it represents. It adds some distortion, but you also have, you know, we used to have a lot of things with the lenses, all the problems that today we want to solve in any kind of photo editing software. In here, instead of getting rid of them, you add them. Distortion, instead of getting rid of them, you add them. Ironically, I mean, it's pretty paradoxical. Chromatic shift, instead of getting rid of them, you add them. Chromatic aberration, without getting rid of them, you add them. Defocus, same. Let's try it out. I'm quite curious about that, especially the defocus. Say, make it a bit more soft. If I look at defocus 100% and defocus 0%. So yeah, it adds a little bit of a soft, you know, not very focused look. Next tool coming up, next with the next new image. Again, we are staying in Rajasthan, and we're going to add some. So in this case, you see that by default, it changed a little bit. I think it's a little bit too bright. We could yeah, not too much contrast, probably. And now we're going to add the lens vignette, which is here. It is quite a common tool for any type of film photography, because again, just like the chromatic aberration today, they're all kind of fixed, or at least much better than the old one. But if you're going for analog look, you still have to bring back all these quote-unquote you know, imperfections, because that's the whole objective of this Analog Efex. So by default, it uses a subtle amount of vignette, but of course you can use either a rectangle or a circle vignette if you like, and you can change the size, and you can add amount. You need one more brightness or more darkness, up to you. Pretty much straightforward. Next tool, next image. Let's take you to where? This time I'm going to take you to Australia, the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And the next tool would be levels and curves. Obviously one of the common tool of any photo editing software, which is this. You know, it's nothing to do with the analog, but it allows you to fine tune your shadow, highlight, and what I'm going for it, the midtone. However, though, in film photography, some images can look like that. Some images can look like this. You see that it's already a nice change and quite a common look in film photography. So they don't use the brightness curve. Instead, in film photography, in the curve, you get to use the RGB curves. So again, more blue or more green, yellow, or opposite, same. So yeah, with the levels and curves, you can add some kind of like a color on your shadow, brightness, and highlight. Next image, next tool. We are still staying in Australia, probably. So this is the image of Australia Day. They're doing a big festival at the time. I think it's back in 2017 as well. Boy, long time ago. Another common tool of the film photography is that licking the light. When you don't close your back camera properly, sometimes the light comes through and it gives kind of like this strange look, like some kind of like a glowy look over an image. In this case, you can see that the light is coming leaked through the right hand side. The left is fine. That's before and after. So either you can also adjust the strength of it. Sometimes it happens. It can happen actually. It's quite common again. So you have the soft, you have the crisp. For instance, in this case, or something like that. Or you have dynamic. That can happen too. Quite a common issue with film photography, color or black and white. So yeah, another common tool. You can use it locally, of course, but I don't see the reason for it though. Another image. Let's go back home, my home. Hang on a second. Before that, I get rid of this tool first. Let's take you back to my home village, where a bunch of people on a weekend do some fishing. Quite amazing. This image deserves like a proper vintage look. Anyway, we are going for a motion blur look. Damn. Okay. In this case, I guess I have to maintain and save the photos. So motion blur. What is it? Motion blur generally, you have a movement of the camera, shutter speed is slow, and all of a sudden it happens to, it's moving. So because of the slow shutter speed and you're moving or subject is moving, it happens more or less like that. Of course, you can change it to any way you prefer. You can see that. You can change the strength of it, not too much, not too less. So yeah, that's that. Not wasting too much time. Let's leave my village and let's take you to one of the biggest beach in the world, in my country, Bangladesh. Here, this is an image taken by my wife. She is a beautiful photographer, amazing photographer. I mean, this photo itself deserve to, be printed. Boy, oh boy, brings back a lot of memory. I'm getting a little bit emotional at this point. I'm sorry. I apologize. Now I'm taking you to another tool called Multilens. What happens to Multilens is that you have a bunch of instantly create a dynamic multi-frame layout with multiple focal point, all with a single image, right? It's amazing, this tool. So you have that. I'm going to just, or you have another multi-lens. You can move it around if you like. Top one, you can also move it around if you like. Here as well, you can move it around if you like. and then you can change the border width. You also have different choices like that, like this, like that. Then you have the variation type, changes. So you select this image, so you can change the variation of it. So 4 images with 4 different look. Variation strength, either not too much or a lot. You have the vignette, and border width, you can have more border or less border. You can change the border color to black or something like straightforward. So it's quite creative. I mean, I guess it's interesting to see, have this tool for, to be honest, I don't know why. But at this point, I wouldn't mind printing exact same image with 4 different look anyway. Now change of the tool, multi-lens. And let's take you back to something interesting, because we are almost to the end of this tutorial. So I'm going to take you to this one, motorcycle on a boat. Guys, motorcycle on a boat. Do you see that? So I got to make it, I got to brighten it up a little bit, because this is amazing, this look. Right, and now we are going to go to another tool, photo plate. What is photo plate? Now, interestingly, if you hover your cursor on top of it, you go at the bottom, it will show you or explain you the tool. The photo plate simulates the organic texture that can be created in a darkroom processing on your digital images. So, you know, it's like a plate, you know, or the super duper old images, black and white especially, or sepia images. You see that, you know, you used to use a lot of hand and everything. So you have a lot of fingerprints such as this. So yeah, it gives you a nice little fingerprint. For example, it makes sense with a black and white image, in my opinion. Not at all color. Now this looks like a phenomenal creative photo. I just bloody love it. So yeah, you have this photo plate with different look, like corroded, for instance. I need something more strong. For instance, this one, it's nice. Then you have concrete. Let's try the concrete. So yeah, you have all the tools literally of the darkroom in this Analog Efex. Now it's not finishing. We're going to finish this tutorial with the one of my most favorite photos of all time, which is, wait for it, this one. No, sorry, that's not that. Give me a second, hold on a second. This one. You see the cows, it's in Rajasthan. When you go to Rajasthan, this is one of the common scenario. In a street, the domestic animals and the people live next to each other. It's just very, very human in my eyes. Now we're going to finish the tutorial with this tool called Zoom and Rotate Blur. Obviously the name gives away. In this case, you can control the strength of it or add a lot. You have the rotation strength. It's quite nice though. I quite like it. I think I'm gonna have a scissor if I continue to do so. Either make it bigger or smaller. So mix of all that, starting from the basic adjustment to the film type, you get to have the looks such as, hang on a second, I'm going to change to this image, a rainy day in Calcutta. This will take you to all these looks such as color cast, for instance. This is a nice one. It takes time though. I think this is one of the only tool that takes a little bit of time. Or you can have the double exposure, not the double exposure. I'm gonna take you to something like a multi-lens, for instance, like this one, the earlier you've seen. Or you have this vintage look, such as the burned edges. Taking a little bit of time, I know. There you go. So yeah, if you like film photography and used to take film photography, or you want your travel photo looks really nostalgic, this is one of my favorite tool. It's actually much better in my opinion than DxO Film Pack. But DxO Film Pack also has all of these tools. So if you have the DxO Photo Lab along with the DxO Film Pack, you actually, I think you can avoid using Analog Efex, because both, they all overlap one with another. However, in the Analog Efex though, good thing about the Analog Efex, not only it has the basic preset and the tools, it also has the camera kit. So the name, all this name, you know exactly what they are going to do. So basically very straightforward. I hope you like this long tutorial. I hope that I made this tutorial a bit more fun by changing images. If you have any opinion, please, I welcome you to comment in the comment section below. And don't forget to download the trial from the description. And I see you next time. Bye bye.